what they actually do in
Really?
production. Yes, they take breaks. People take smoke breaks.
No
people
way.
go fix their hair. They re-mic. Like, you're way too hard on yourself. Just vibe. This is your shit. You can do whatever you want.
I'm such a Virgo moon.
I know.
It's so
you're a
bad.
Virgo moon?
Yeah.
Bitch, I'm a Virgo. I think we talked about that.
Wait, you're a Virgo moon?
I'm a Virgo moon and I'm a Leo rising, Cancer sun.
I'm a Leo sun, Virgo moon, Leo rising.
You know, Brandon is a Virgo moon, Leo rising. You're Leo rising?
Mm-hmm.
Leo sun. Oh, yeah. I think we talked about this.
I thought you had a Pisces.
I really think I'm too drunk and I don't know. She was like, you can tell she texted me like, do you remember what?
Yeah.
I said, girl, I remember. I'm lit, but I know what I'm talking about. We said that we were going to talk about this topic. We said Tuesday. I'm like, girl.
So,
sorry, I got to crack my back.
Go for it. Did it crack?
I think so.
I heard it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Sorry. I always have to
That sounded good, though.
Yeah, that was fun. Okay, ready.
Okay.
Hey, wait. Let me chill. Hey, wait. Let me handle it.
Welcome to episode 9 of the Laylo podcast. I have Obi. Is it Obi or how do you like to pronounce it?
I feel like when I'm in serious mode, like work mode, it's Obehi, you know. But all of my life, you know, Obi was just always my nickname.
Really?
So they're interchangeable.
Okay.
Sometimes, you know, people are like, oh my gosh, no, I just want to be able to pronounce your real name. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's like, you know how some people are like this or that.
Yeah.
Obi, Obehi, whatever rolls off the tongue in the
Obehi
moment.
is beautiful, though.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Fun fact, it means the child's in God's hands.
No
so,
way.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to your parents for Obehi. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, I'm excited to have you because one thing that I think y'all should know about Obehi, I'm going to keep saying Obi, but
No, it's whatever.
when I met you, it was, when was the first time? I feel like I've seen you a few times.
I
though.
saw you a few times around, but the first time we actually like conversed and got to know each other was at a mutual friend's birthday.
Was it Brandon's?
Brooklyn's.
Brooklyn's.
Back
Okay.
in March.
No, it was at Brandon's.
Oh, wait, the last year, November.
Last year.
Okay, actually, another mutual friend's birthday. That party
But we
was
didn't
so
really
lit.
talk.
We didn't really get to chat. But I feel like
people.
Brooklyn's is where we really got to, oh my gosh, what's your sign? Oh my gosh, what's your sign? Oh my gosh,
It was like an hour of just like girl talk.
It was really good though.
Yeah.
And it was so refreshing.
Yeah, it was nice. We actually recorded Holland's episode where Brandon's party was at.
You know what? That Airbnb space, whatever.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Chef's kiss.
And I told Mike, I said, I was at that party that you kicked us out. He was
Oh
like,
my
you were
gosh.
there? And I was like,
Yeah.
I was there. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for your service, Mike. Great party.
He was like, it was fine.
Great
it was
home.
just like insurance purposes. Like I
Yeah,
just felt
no
like,
facts.
Yeah.
He wasn't being like, it was
Yeah.
just like literally like insurance purposes. He's just like,
He was like, how do you go from 30 to 80 people? But it was a good party. I had a good time.
Great
I had a
party.
great time. But no, I felt like, and then at Thanksgiving, we just like, every time I see you, we're drinking, but we're like talking. And that's why I was like, you got something to talk about. I want people that are like me, but also different. Like, I feel like you're the feminine version of me. Because I'm kind of like,
she's flattered.
A little bit like a boy, but it's like, I don't know. I just felt like you have a lot to say. So we're going to get into it. Well, let's start with, you're from Chicago.
I am from Chicago.
When did you move to
Illinois.
LA?
I moved to LA February 2022.
Okay.
So we're creeping on 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. And prior to LA, I was in New York for about
Really?
Yeah, I was in New York.
I didn't know that.
Can't you tell?
Yeah, you definitely give like New York vibes. New Yorkers
Yeah.
are kind of like raw. I don't like saying that, but like a little more like they're just sure of themselves.
Yeah.
So you have like a different. I think LA girls are a little more laid back, and I'm not saying this in like a way like, oh my god, you're so like.
Yeah.
But you're just more like, Whereas like LA girls are like, You know what I mean?
I wouldn't even say LA girls. It's probably just like LA culture.
Yeah.
Because, this is a huge melting pot, just like New York, and they're very similar, in that way. But yeah, LA is definitely very lax.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
always tell people that all the time, like transitioning from New York to LA, I feel like I just learned in all aspects how to just relax, tone it down, which I am pretty. We'll get into that later.
I don't think you should though.
Right. I was going to say, which I'm trying to get over.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get back into, me. But like I feel like it was for good reasons. Like it taught me how to kind of calm down a little bit and just pace myself in different ways, you know? So
I feel like Chicago is a good mix between LA and New York. LA and New York. Chicago was my second option. Like if I didn't move to LA, I was going to go to Chicago.
I can so see you in Chicago.
Really?
For sure. I think you'd really enjoy it. You'd really vibe out. Just like getting to know your personality.
Yeah.
I feel like Chicago would look great on you, and I feel like you'd really be able to appreciate the city for everything it has to offer. I don't feel like everyone knows how to appreciate Chicago for everything it has to offer, or they're just unaware that Chicago has so much to offer because whatever the media or, you know, things like that portray.
Because they're like, it's so bad and so ghetto.
Dangerous. Oh my gosh, gunshots. Give it up. No, Chicago never gave. Our skyline is beautiful. The summers are to die for. Yep. Oh, wait, sorry. That's probably bad to say. No, like no pun intended. No pun intended. Not literally to die for, but you know, like the summers are lit. Let's say that. And there's a lot of culture in Chicago that people don't know about. So I think you should still try it at some point if you do have that opportunity.
You been to Dallas?
Have I been to Dallas? Yes. I told you I have a best friend in, is it Plano, Texas?
Yeah, that's where my mom lives, in Plano.
Yeah, you told me. Yeah. Plano. I always say Plano.
Whatever.
Yeah, so my best friend lives out there. I always go visit her. I like Dallas. That was the vibe. There's a lot of Nigerians there too. Yeah,
I'm looking at the camera because during my straight days.
Fine, Nigerians.
The Nigerians, man, they were. Let me just say something about the Nigerian men. I was good. I'll just say that. Like, Kourtlynn didn't have to worry about nothing.
It's sick.
Yeah.
Because I will say that I do feel like Chicago kind of lacked. I don't want to say that because maybe that'll be. I just feel like they're just a different breed. They're just a different breed of Nigerians in Texas, the state of Texas as a whole. So, yeah.
A ton of them. So, I'm curious. Okay, because I asked you if you've been to Dallas because my cousin, we're the same age. She lives in Chicago. She moved there from Dallas. And I always feel like Chicago was like a colder Dallas in a way. Like, it was just cold.
Like, in what ways? Like,
the city seems more, it seems like Dallas doesn't, okay, Chicago has culture. I'll say that. Dallas does not have a lot of culture. It's like, very pretentious. So there's not like a lot to do there. But I also feel like Chicago, you're not going to go to Chicago to hike. You're going to go to Chicago to eat good food.
Yes.
Have a good time.
Say that.
We miss the good food out here. I'm just going to say.
We'll say that. Seasoned food.
Right.
We'll say that.
Yeah, eat good food. Have a good time. Have good drinks. Like I feel like Chicago and Dallas, like good interchange.
Yeah. I feel like Dallas has it's always good energy and good vibes there. I like the nightlife in Dallas too.
It's lit.
Yeah, the nightlife in Dallas, they kind of got Chicago beat. I will say that.
Really?
Sorry, I love you, Chicago.
We have Bottle Blonde. Both of us have Bottle Blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food as well too. Dallas is a vibe. I always enjoy it.
Okay. I'm going to go. We'll see what happens. Okay, so you moved here from New York. I moved here in April, so I feel like we're like neck and neck. So I feel you. What has the adaptation been like for you coming out here?
To be honest, okay, I would say now looking back, because it's so different versus like when you're actually looking back and reflecting on just a journey of something. Like in the moment, you're feeling like one way, but I've noticed that like that kind of changes like as time goes and things progress. I would say at first it was a bit difficult. I will say that.
Really?
And it wasn't difficult. It was interesting because my career was like taking off, doing so well, navigating that space and adapting in that way was a piece of cake.
Yeah.
I think it was more so the city, adapting to the LA culture, because there is a certain culture here that differs, but I will not act like there's not a LA culture or just culture here in general. That was a bit more difficult.
Valid.
Which was like, you can only imagine it's up and down because sometimes it's always vice versa. People are just like, oh, I love LA, the vibe out there. I just can't wait to live out there and kick it. Dang, like it's hard trying to navigate the entertainment industry. And I'm an entertainment journalist, by the way. So it's like, it's hard to navigate the entertainment industry where I'm trying to shake these hands. But I think my journey was a little bit different because I didn't really plan to move to LA. So that was a major thing. Like, I didn't plan it. So, you know, some people are like, oh, I'm saving up. Well, most people, I'm saving up. This is where I want to be. I always thought I was going to be in New York. So I heard New York. Yeah.
You were the like 8th person I've met that said that.
I always was like, oh, New York is where my career is going to take off. This is where it's going to be. LA will be an option for me by the time I'm done with this city. But the pandemic had other plans, which is fine because it turned out for the better. But I think, just to answer your question, it was a bit harder just like adapting to the LA culture, finding like community. One of my very best friends, Brandon, of course, lived here. So like, of course, like that was my safest space. One of my best friends, you know, prior to moving here. So like, of course I had him, but then, you know, just kind of branching out, finding, you know, community naturally and just adapting to the pace of LA and the culture was what I found more difficult.
Is the pace slower than New York?
Way
slower?
Way slower.
Dude, I get stressed because even from Dallas, I was like, y'all have got to move. Like, even like people walking across the street, like with the little timer, it's like, let's go. Like, what are y'all doing? So I can't imagine. Yeah,
it's way slower, but it's a good slower because it wasn't bad because that kind of taught me like, just slow down. Everything is not a rush. Everything is not a race.
Yeah.
Traffic is humbling here too. There's so many things in LA that I feel like teaches you patience. So I think I needed that. You know, I was always kind of used to that high energy, high level energy coming from a very like transition. I went straight to New York from college.
Wow.
So transitioning from, although I went to college in Missouri, I went to Mizzou.
Okay.
And it was like, people are like, oh my gosh, Columbia, Missouri, like what is in Missouri? But like, it was a college town.
Yeah, Mizzou is like, it's big.
It was lit. Like people from so many different states. And then I'm in one of the like, at the time, top journalism schools in the nation. So that was already fast paced in itself. So I was always just used to being naturally on go. Then I came here and I'm like, oh.
Everybody's like a little slow.
It's just slower here. It seems like no one's really in a rush.
Yeah.
But maybe this is good. Maybe this is teaching me that things take time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's humbling. So yeah, I guess I would say that was the biggest problem I had. Like not issue or like, you know, just difficulty. Adjusting to just the LA life and culture.
Yeah, I love that. I'm curious because I feel like there's so many people. I've met so many people from Chicago, and I feel like all of you guys are like this. You know, like meeting. So when I came out here, Devontae was like my saving grace. Like
exactly.
Brandon was for you.
Absolutely.
And when I started meeting everybody, they're like, "Oh, I'm from Chicago. I'm from Chicago." I'm like, "God damn, are all of y'all friends?" So I'm curious, like when you went to New York from school compared to coming to LA, what has it been like making friends?
Ooh, okay. Well, honestly, I would say that both moving to a new city for anyone, regardless of whatever city it is and trying to build a community and make friends in itself is going to be, you know, difficult to some capacity if you know, you don't have a lot of people there per se, or you can like count on one hand how many people like are close to you. When I consider a friend, I consider someone I'm like, damn, I need your help real quick, or I'm moving, or can you help me, you know, or like this, and you know, someone you can rely on, like not just an acquaintance or a going out friend or a partying friend, like someone who I actually sit down, we can go out, we can do multiple things together outside of just partying.
Right.
You said you're asking, was it harder in New York to make friends or harder in LA?
And I'll add this, knowing that you knew somebody coming here, has it stifled you from reaching out to people to make other friends?
No way.
Okay.
Why? Because my male best friend is a male.
Yeah.
People, and this is another thing that I don't like. People don't like when people, I've seen like, you know, social media makes up their own rules every day, clearly. And I saw something that was like, I don't like when women say that they're a girl's girl because those women tend to be the fakest.
Why?
I don't like that. I feel like if you know yourself and you're self-aware, that's why I had to just set that disclaimer.
Okay.
I am a girl's girl.
I'm a girl's girl too.
I'm a girl's girl, honey. Yep. Call it what you want. And I'm always going to throw that out there. I'm the youngest of 5 women.
Wow.
I'm also in a sorority.
What's your sorority?
Oh, AKA Alpha Kappa.
My whole family is going to love this.
So
Everybody.
I'm also in a sorority, which, you know, is comprised of a lot of women. Like, I am used to being around women. I love being around feminine energy.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, moving here, like, you know, one of my safest spaces and my best friend, he's a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I found community just naturally within the people I met through him and things like that. But I still craved, you know, that feminine energy naturally. So, and I am pretty friendly.
You are very friendly.
I feel like I'm friendly.
Obehi
I feel
is
like
cool as fuck.
the girls be saying like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know," and I'm just like,
"Can I tell you why?
Why? Yeah,
okay.
maybe it's something because I feel like you have no problem being honest.
Oh no, I don't have a problem.
And I feel like I think like I know what it is, but I don't want to come off a way by saying what I think it is.
Okay,
so I'll let you probably.
I'm gonna be very honest.
Okay.
I think when I first,
I'm nervous. Okay.
When I first met Obi, first of all, you're beautiful. So that's already like people are like, yeah.
Sorry, sis. Sorry.
People are already like, as soon as they see like a beautiful woman, they're like, already their guard is up because it's like, is there more to her, or is she only?
I like how you put that. Is there more to her?
Is she consumed in her beauty? And then on top of that, you have like there's a vibrance about you. Like for me personally, it's rare that, and I watch when I say this because sometimes girls are like, are you hitting on me? No, I'm not. But there's like this, if you go in a party, it was like, I saw you, I saw Becky, like I saw very few people that really like caught my attention. And I was a little nervous because I was like, okay, this is like a girl that's like kind of like a bad bitch hanging out with gay men. And I was like,
ooh, and you know, anyway, I'll let you finish.
Okay,
there's a stereotype with that too, though. So I see.
And especially me being a girl that's kind of, I'm feminine and like I used to be more feminine than I am now, but sometimes I feel like other women don't understand me because I give both spectrums. So when I saw you, I was like, man, I don't know if she's gonna really get my vibe. Like she didn't think I'm like, is she butch? Is she, you know, it was just weird. But I just think there's such like a light around you that people see you that it makes people feel intimidated, honestly. And they might not know that you're like genuinely a genuine person. Like there's nothing about you that is superficial, or you have depth to you. And I think that's, people just got to tap into it. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah, I think it makes them scared.
And I like how you put that. Because I understand and I respect it too, because we're all human and, you know, naturally we're going to make those assumptions or have those preconceived notions if you don't know someone. But I think another aspect of that is after a while, it used to kind of bother me at first because like I just know like I'm such a people's person. Like I am a lover of all people and I'm literally a social butterfly. But after a while I was like, well, you know what? The real ones will stick. The people who are actually, you know, actually want to get to know me will make that effort. You always made an effort to speak to me. And, you know, I'm always going to do likewise. And it wasn't even a matter of like, oh, who's going to speak first? Because that's not even how I roll. But I can kind of sense that after a while, just, you know, tapping into myself and, you know, getting to know who I am and learning who I am, you know, with years and with time, I kind of started to notice, okay, maybe it's this or maybe it's that, you know, how you kind of explained it. After a while, I was like, well, rather than, you know, feeling bad or putting myself down for, you know, what others may be projecting onto me, I'm just going to let things be natural. And, you know, if you care enough or if you're, you know, intrigued enough or, you know, interested enough, you'll try and get to know me as I do with other people too. So
I always say it's an empowering thing because I used to go to my mom, and this is a question that I kind of want to ask: is like, how do you navigate jealousy or competition in friends? But I used to go to my mom because I was bullied pretty bad as a kid, and then I just struggle with relationships and friendships with women. I have like 4 girlfriends that I'm super close with. My best friend, I've known her since I was 11, but it's rare that I meet a woman that I'm like, oh, we're cool. We can go get our nails done. We can go eat food and it not be a problem. And I used to be like, Mom, like, I'm not like as, you know, I don't match up to them in certain ways, but I'm not a bad person. So why do they not like me? Like, what is wrong with me that is like putting them off? But then now I'm just like, man, fuck you.
Yeah, literally. No, literally, literally,
like,
fuck you. No, yeah. And I've been there before where you just really start to like, I feel like I've been through every phase of friendship. Like, I feel like that's why I feel like nothing can really like get past me or like get over on me because I feel like at this point, at my 27 years of age, I feel like I've literally have tapped into every kind of personality type, every kind of female. That's why I feel like I'm so optimistic and open when I meet someone who is a bit different or who is, because I feel like I've seen it all, and I've had that issue as well too at some point. But one thing that stood out to me that you did say is because in the same sentence you said, I always have, issues with maintaining friendships with women, but in the same breath you said, but I do have these 4 close girlfriends and one girlfriend. And I always say that too, because I'm like, what is this? Like, I feel like, I'm having these issues or with, female friends and making them stick, especially in, these new cities that I'm in. And like, but, I do have my best friend from 8th grade who's like my A1. And then, I do have a good girl group of friends who like, we just get along. We get it. So I'm like, okay, well, rather than thinking that I'm the problem or saying that, I had to stop saying that I'm having issues maintaining female friends, because when I look around, I do have healthy female friendships. Just it may not be in my current situation or in my current surroundings. In the space that I'm currently in. Yeah. And I think honestly, to answer your question or just the resolution that I've come, and it took me some time, just, some self-reflecting, because that's always important. But I just realized that overall, I think it is just harder to foster friendships. I wouldn't even just say with women, just in general, as we like just continue to, and so tap into our adulthood. Like as we get older, I feel like the harder it just gets, because people have, different priorities, certain things that when you are trying to make a friend or like build a friendship with someone that you would do, some people just generally don't have time for it. Or like, just people's morals are different. People just have different responsibilities. So they're not willing to prioritize certain things, that consist of maintaining a friendship. So I think I've just come to terms with the fact that it is going to be a little bit more harder now that we are just, getting older and, just things are just different. Things look different. Everyone is going through different things in adulthood. We have way more responsibilities, which is why I try and give people grace. But I still very much so have a no nonsense.
Do not fuck with me.
No nonsense mindset. I really do have low tolerance for people who are just disingenuine and like, it's just like, and I feel like that is why it's becoming harder and harder, because at the same time, while, it's harder to make friends, there are a lot of things that as women, in our adulthood, we're just not going to tolerate. Oh, no. So that is why it may come off as dismissive. Right. But I'm quick to be like, that's not my person. With it. Yeah. Gotta go. Yeah. Okay.
Because you can feel energy. You can read it. And I like that you talked about, like, I have these friendships, but I struggle with women friends, the spaces that we're in. And I realized, like, I used to be in a space with, I would call myself a section hoe. So I would be like,
everybody has gone through that section. And you're not a lit girly pop if you did not go through your section hoe phase.
Did you have a cleat chaser section hoe phase or not in your early 20s? Like you had to have it. And I just realized like that community, that space is not the space to make. Like you said, you're going out friends. Those are not your friends.
Have to be able to separate it. That's another thing that comes with, especially living in a new city. You have to be able to separate it, or your feelings are going to be hurt. Because if you think that's your club hopping friend, which, don't get me wrong, there are some unicorns and there are some women, like, and we love those. We love those. Like, girl, we can go to yoga, we can go to the club, we can go to church, the whole nine.
Have brunch.
Most of the time, you just have to let it be what it is and take it for what it is. Because when you start to, get a bit confused and you're not able to differentiate what categories certain women or just friends in general should fall into, your feelings are going to get hurt. Now you want to fight.
Now it's like,
now you want to fight.
Now I want to fight you. Like, I would be
I thought we were more than this.
Yes. Sis. Like, we hang out. Because when I was a section hoe, I was going out 5-6 nights a week. So I was seeing the same people, doing the same things with them, and like
confused, thinking that these are your girly pops, and y'all are only, you all can only hold a conversation over tequila.
and our activity, like, I would help them move, but we were drinking while we were moving. Like there was and I think my issue was, and I don't know if you relate to this, but I felt like we would have deep conversations, and I would give them great advice. But once I started outgrowing the need to go out or start drinking, it was like I was switching up.
Yeah.
And it's like, bitch,
or like,
do you not want to grow too? Do you not want to experience other things? And it was like really weird because a lot of the girls, I'm just going to be very honest. They were having their rent paid for, their car note paid for, everything. I was doing everything myself. So it's like, why are you mad at me still when you have a life that is literally laid out for you? I'm still working my ass off trying to figure it out, but it's not enough. And I think once you get to a certain age, you're like, dude, it's okay. Like, I'm not gonna, go through that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I will say that. Like, bitch, you can get your bills paid for.
I'm trying to get my rent paid right now.
Okay,
no, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But it's just kind of like just having that understanding, or like at some point it's just like, dang, we really don't relate, or we really don't have much to talk about because unfortunately we are just kind of different. And the only mutual thing that we do have now is the only mutual thing that we do have in common is going out. And that's another thing that just comes with age and maintaining friendships, because I feel like back then it was like, okay, cool, that's my girl who's doing X, Y, and Z. But like you start to crave more than that and more substance. And like I want to be able to talk about the real life shit that I'm going through, and you to at least have some form of feedback rather than you just, you can't relate.
Right.
And, now it's cricket.
Okay, so I read this is why one of the questions I sent you was, do you feel friendships with women require more attention and management? Because I read an article on Medium that said basically the emotional men are essentially able to kind of meet their buddies, and everybody's like, oh dude, like I like this dude, and they're cool for 15, 20 years. But women, and as a woman that dates women, I also understand this in a relationship aspect, but do you think it requires more attention and management? And how do you have that balance between time for yourself and time with your friends?
So just to clarify, do you feel like are we comparing, or are we just saying, do you just want to know what level of, do I feel like it's just a high maintenance level versus a low maintenance level? Are you saying versus being friends with men?
Let's say high maintenance level. We'll take the men out.
Yeah, we'll take the men out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It depends. I feel like certain friends, I'm gonna be brutally honest, being transparent, certain friends do require higher maintenance than other friends.
Yeah.
And when you know your friends, it's okay to, and I'm not saying give, your low maintenance friends the short and the stick because oh, she don't care about that. But also it's okay to understand different friends require different things to maintain a friendship. All of my friends are different. Okay. We may all, even the friend groups that I am in where we're all mutually friends, all of us have different personality types, and it works for us. But I'm going to know, oh, this friend, well, I'm going to have to call her, because she's going to go into panic mode.
Yeah.
And this friend, she gets it, because she too, we share some of the same sentiments. We don't have to talk all the time. I have friends who are high maintenance. I have friends who are low maintenance. But all of my friends, I would say all of my female friends are pretty mature.
Okay.
As to where and we're big on communication, right?
Love that.
So I feel like that is the mutual factor between my high maintenance friends and my low maintenance friends. We're able to communicate.
Okay.
Regardless, if I have a high maintenance friend, I'm going to communicate. Hey, girl, I know I didn't talk to you this week, but it's been a bad week. That's my low maintenance friends. Hey, girl, I know we haven't talked in a while. Still love you checking in.
But it's not personal. They don't take it personal.
They don't take it personal. And if they do, because I'm not going to act like we're not women and we're not, energetic creatures.
Yep.
If they do, that communication is always what saves that, and is always what keeps that bond going.
Right.
Hey, girl, I just feel like lately you haven't really been,
hitting me up,
or you haven't been a good friend. You knew this didn't happen, or X, Y, and Z, or I've been going through that. And then it's up to you as a friend to change that, But that communication is what keeps me and my high maintenance friends and my low maintenance friends going. So yeah, I definitely have high maintenance friends who are just kind of a little bit more clingier than some. But just always keeping that communication factor, but a little bit of both.
That kind of spoke to me because my best friend, like I said, I've known her since I was 11. There were periods where she felt like I was choosing my going out friends over her. And I just had to let her know, quite frankly, the place that I'm in, they don't know me like you know me.
Yeah.
And they will never be what you are to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to put you in that space because I know you and you won't feel comfortable in that space. But I have these periods where I will disappear from people.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And it could be like 2 or 3 months where I'm just gone. And she used to take it very personally. And I'm only speaking on this because she wants to speak on this. So I have permission.
Okay.
But
hey, bestie.
thank you, Kaisa. I appreciate it. But no, she's like, now when I disappear, she's like, I already expect it. Like, I accept that about you. And I'm not, she used to get so upset. Now she's just like, I know in 6 months you're going to disappear. But at the same time, I don't want that to be my characteristic. I don't want that to be something that people know about me. It's like, oh, Kourtlynn's going to go away and then come back in my life when it's convenient for her.
Yeah.
So how would you describe yourself as a friend? Would you describe yourself as a low maintenance or high maintenance friend?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. It depends on the friend.
Really?
Yeah, just how I put it before. I said I have some friends who are high maintenance and I also have some friends who are low maintenance. I am not going to sit here and act like certain friends,
Get the same attention?
Well, I wouldn't say attention. Because all of my friends, they get the same love from me. They get the same level of support from me. So there is no friend into that capacity, I feel like, But I feel like with certain friends, wait, so you're asking me what kind of friend am I?
Yeah,
low maintenance or high maintenance?
And I ask you this, do you mind if I give a little more background?
Yeah, of course. I would love.
So, okay, let's put Devontae up for I've known him since I was 19, 20.
Yeah.
And with him, he knows that like I'm high maintenance with him.
Yeah.
But he still gets the disappearing from me. So I feel like where you said like it depends on the friend, it's just my personality. So each friend gets the same from me, but it's a little different. So I guess I'm asking you if you're a high maintenance or low maintenance friend, and do you find any type of fault in how you do show up as a friend to other people? I just added like 3 questions.
Okay, we'll start with one. So, I don't know. My girly pops may see this and differ and be like, girl, you are high maintenance. But I feel like at some point I was a little bit more of a high maintenance friend because I feel like, I go so hard for my friends and just the people in my life in general. So at some point I feel like I was starting to get the short end of the stick or just get in my head about it. And so I started to become a little bit more high maintenance. But I feel like, honestly, just maturing and, just, becoming the woman that I am, and just being more understanding. Because I feel like that's a huge thing that I had to do is just kind of understand how to be more understanding. My friends have taught me this. My friends and my loved ones have like taught me as well. Like we teach each other so much, which is why I, take so much pride in them. And, I can be a bit high maintenance with them because I hold them to a high standard in the highest regard. But I think at some point, when you just become more understanding and, I too can do the same thing, disappear. I'm a Cancer, so you never know what mood you're going to get.
I love Cancers.
And I love Leos.
Oh, yay.
And, you never know what mood you're going to get. It started to be unfair on my end to be a bit high maintenance because it's just like, like you said, I can disappear and I can do this and these people will still understand and still love me the same. So maybe I should, give them a little bit more grace too and just kind of lower that maintenance a little bit because, essentially it's kind of unfair. They're giving me grace and I also always want to reciprocate that love, because these are my friends. I love them, so whatever they feel is, naturally important to me. So I feel like I used to be a bit more high maintenance with my friend, but as I just kind of matured into my womanhood, I started to understand like, hey, we have real life shit going on. Like everyone can't do, and I put myself in the same, like I can't be 20 places at once. I have things, I'm going to be up and down some days. You all are understanding that. Why not be understanding the same way and reciprocate that and just lower the maintenance a little bit. And what kind of friend am I? You asked me that. I'm very loyal to the T. Sometimes too loyal. Too loyal.
Let's talk about
too
it.
loyal. I am loyal.
Mhm.
I'm supportive.
Mhm.
I would like to say like I'm kind-hearted.
Mhm.
I'm very, very considerate.
Mm.
And I'm a motivating friend. I feel like I
Mm.
serve as that friend who likes to, I mean, we all motivate each other in our different ways,
Yeah.
but I've been told that, I can just be very motivating and uplifting. I'm
Mm.
always going to try and, push my friends to be the
Yeah.
best versions of themselves all of the time.
Yeah.
Very supportive. And I'm just a damn good time.
Okay.
So
I
I feel like I'm the fun friend.
I agree.
We all fun. All of my
You had your
girlfriends are fun.
sunglasses on Thanksgiving. I said, yeah, she having a good time.
I like to have a good time.
Yeah.
I like to laugh. I'm always going to be cracking the joke. I'm definitely the funny friend too.
No, and you know what's crazy? All of my Cancer friends are fucking hilarious.
I'm the funny friend. Like I have jokes, sis. I'm not
Y'all
gonna
are
lie.
funny. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like if I could clone myself and be my own friend, I would
do it?
I would. So I would love to have a friend like me. I feel like I'm a great friend. And you know what? I wouldn't say a great friend is different than being a perfect friend.
Exactly.
So by me saying all of these things, I'm not saying I'm a perfect friend,
Yeah.
but I am a damn good friend.
Good friend.
So
come with goodness. I love that you said if you could clone yourself.
I would
That
literally
made me think.
I would literally be like, sis, like, are you trying to go to
Let's
lunch?
be
Like, you are
besties.
fun.
Yeah, like I love you.
Yeah, no
Soul
facts.
cycle, then lunch, then we go out. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of that.
Yeah, I would take my own advice.
Mm.
I feel like, yeah.
That's something I'm gonna have to think about that if I would clone myself as a friend. I don't know if I would.
Yeah, and that's okay. And that's okay. And that just shows that you are self-aware.
Yeah.
I'm just how I'm self-aware that I can be high maintenance, I can be dramatic. Like, I'm not a perfect friend, but that doesn't take away from me being a great friend, a good person. So yeah.
One thing that I touched on a little bit, but we didn't expand on was jealousy in friendships. Okay. How do you feel about that? Ooh. And what has your experience been?
I feel like this is always such an awkward topic to talk about, and it makes me feel so weird.
Oh, I'm glad you feel like that.
Yeah, it makes me feel so weird to talk about because, one, I feel like naturally people are like, oh, of course, people are jealous of you. But the girls, some of the girls be hating or like envious, or sometimes like some people can't help it. I feel like sometimes I can be such an empath. I'll be in denial. And my experience with that, I feel like I had my first experience with like friend jealousy in high school. And I was so in denial because I'm like, no, this is my dog. We do everything together. Oh my gosh. Like, we get fly together. Yeah. We do this together.
That's my
like,
best friend.
This is my bestie. Like, no. But then like the math will be mathing, and there's always some form of consistency somewhere of just the weird vibe that just always come back, whether it's 2 weeks apart, 2 months apart, even 2 years apart. My experience with friendship jealousy, or experiencing a friend being jealous per se, I'm typically in denial at first because I like to give people grace, but I'm also like very hypersensitive to just, I feel like energy is being overused, but it's a thing. I'm very hypersensitive to energies. I'm very hypersensitive to vibes, and I'm very hypersensitive to people's mannerisms around me. For sure.
Yeah.
I feel like I just had to learn how to be that way, especially navigating my career, friendships, things like that. So I always catch it. Don't get me wrong. I'll act in denial because it's really me just trying to humbly say, oh, I see what's going on. Right. But I literally have a 3-strike rule. Yes.
Ooh, a 3-strike
I have a 3-strike rule that I had never told anyone about before this podcast. So this is an exclusive.
I love this.
I have a 3-strike rule. I think a few of my friends know this. Brandon definitely knows this.
Okay.
I'd be like, you know what? She did this. I didn't like it. And another thing about me, which is what I kind of take pride in that. You know how some people are like, everything doesn't deserve a response or reaction. I do believe that at some point you need to call out.
You got to say something.
You have to call out certain behavior because at the end of the day, no one can't say that they were blindsided by you cutting them off if you've mentioned something at some point. So I know some people aren't confrontational, but it's like I am the type of person who I'm going to say something.
You have to.
I'm going to mention it, you know, in some way, shape, or form. Like, unfortunately, I saw a post the other day that was like, unfortunately for everyone in my life, I am confrontational, so I am gonna
sorry,
and
but
I'm not even that, but like, no, I just feel like I've worked so hard with all of my friendships, you know, maintaining my friendships and communication being key, that I don't feel like I'm going to, you know, make that exception for anyone, let alone a friend who I think is jealous of me. So my first step is being in denial.
Okay.
Yeah, that's step one.
All right.
But also I'm still like, I peeped that.
Right.
I am one of those people who are like, you know.
Start questioning it.
I start questioning it, but I'm also going to, you know, tell a friend. I love different people's perspectives, you know.
Yes.
So I'll be like, okay, hey, so this happened. What do you think about this? And I'm always unbiased. Like I cannot stand only telling your side of the story. I'm going to tell what I did too.
Sides.
I'm going to tell both sides because I personally cannot stand when someone gives me a half-assed story.
Bitch,
like, what did you do to make them do that? So I'm going to say, yeah, maybe I did, you know, that, but then this is what happened. So I have a 3-strike rule. I really do, because I really do believe in giving people grace, because I do feel like we're all working on something. We're all working to be better. And I've been in places where my friends, I've been, you know, blessed enough to have friends who are able to tell me about myself. And I can take that constructive criticism. And I've learned how to, you know, just be a better person, better friend as a whole.
Absolutely.
So I try to give people that same grace. But people be really having you fucked up out here. I'm not going to lie. People will really have you fucked up out here.
Yeah.
I have a 3-strike rule. I peep game. The first strike, I don't really say thing. I don't really say nothing, because sometimes we can be in our own head. We're not always right, but it's noted.
I see you. We see each other.
I see what you did,
but we're gonna keep
and
it
you
cute.
may be dealt with if this continues.
you
will be dealt with if this continues.
Yeah.
No 3-strike rule. Second time is like, okay, I'm saying something.
Oh,
First
absolutely.
time we're peeping. Step 1, we're peeping.
Okay.
You gotta put it. You gotta put the little.
I'm
font
gonna
over
put like
it.
a
Step
ding.
1.
Yeah.
Ding.
Peep.
We peep game. I know what you did. And I saw what you did.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna let you go with it because you was a little drunk. Don't let that happen again.
But lay low.
You better lay low.
Yeah.
Strike 2.
Mm-hmm.
Strike 2. Literally, you know, I'm peeping game. It's giving consistent. You did something else that was a little thrown off, a little weird, that made me, you know, look sideways.
Tilt your head.
So now, since this is step 2, this is a thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to mention it. But I'm also not going to be, you know, I don't like, you know, accusing and things like that. Like, I really try and, you know, ease it in there. So I'm going to mention, but I am going to say something. Like, that's just what it is. Hey, I peeped you saw this. Like, what was that about? I am very much so, what was that about?
Yeah, like, hey, not to like, and not in like a boom, boom, boom way, but it's just like
not a, but more like a,
a little, girl. You know.
What was that about? You know, we might even laugh it off a little.
Yeah.
Don't do that shit again.
Not too much.
And then strike 3 is like, like,
you got me fucked up.
Like, no, like, this is weird.
Yeah.
I'm just over it. But I have experienced like just people being, and sometimes like the thing about it is like, when you're self-aware, you know, and you know who you are, like, you know what energy you bring, what you bring to the table, and just, you're just overall, or, you know, sometimes like people can't even help it. Sometimes it stems from so many different things. And I try and like understand people, because if you were once my friend, I pay attention to everything you do.
Absolutely.
I pay attention to your mannerisms. I know what bothers you. I know what makes you feel insecure. I know what makes you X, Y, and Z. So you would almost be a fool to be projecting that energy on me. And I know how you are naturally because we were friends. You should know your friends. You would almost be a fool to think I'm not, you know, catching on to that behavior towards me. So like, as much as you want to be empathetic and you're like, I know this person is this way because, they had a hard upbringing. You know, I know that they've had people who've made them feel insecure before. At the end of the day, like, I had to stop making excuses for that behavior. And I cut it off immediately. I can honestly say where I am right now, if I sense any type of envy, regardless of if it's how people will be jealous of how other people love you.
Yes.
Like, It's sick.
Yeah.
And then and that's another thing. I would be like, well, like, humbly, like, what is it about? Like, what do I have that you can't do?
Right.
Or what am I doing that you
just
can't,
be a better
that you
person.
can't have, or
yeah.
that you can't work towards, or that you can't, but sometimes it's just it's not on you, it's in you.
Mm-hmm.
And when people kind of sense that, it makes them feel small. But I had to learn that that's not my fault. Like, that is not my fault. Yeah. And sometimes I would try and water dead plants and hang on to friends who I know like secretly felt some type of way just about, who I am, or, just have that little envious bug. But now, I'm no nonsense. You can, honey.
Yeah.
Grace.
Don't play with me. Grace.
I am no nonsense. Just because at our big age,
that
it's not healthy in any way, shape, or form. At our big age, for you to just be envious or jealous of someone who you should call friend, like that, it's almost borderline scary.
Absolutely.
It's borderline scary. And like, at that point, it's just any bad vibe, unhealthy, I'm cutting it off just for my mental health, my mental space. Like, I don't want to be looking over my shoulder all the time. I don't want to live like that, whether it's a friend, it's a significant other, family member. Okay.
Blood is not always thicker than water. I'm just
but luckily, like, I don't, luckily, like,
you're good.
Been gracious enough to not have that from family, but friends. When it comes to female friends, I feel like it hasn't been a reoccurring thing, but it happens.
Absolutely.
And it pops up. And I feel like you have to crack down on that the older you get, sooner than later, or else it'll just be bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
love the 3 steps because I relate to
the 3 strikes. The 3 strikes. The 3 strikes. Like, literally, you're out of there.
Oh, I'm going to put a strike through. Too, just so I remember it, because I definitely go through that, like the denial, the and then the okay, bitch, you gone, like I'm cutting you off, and I have a couple things.
Okay,
so, number one, as far as jealousy with me, I've had friends steal from me, and I've had my mom catch my friend stealing, and it was like really, it sucked to experience that because I was just like, dang, like you don't steal from me, like I've invited you in. So I'm really big on not letting people in my space.
And you would think, like, honestly, I thought I had it bad, but I haven't gotten to that. There's so many different levels of jealousy and envious and so many different things that people do.
Yeah.
Luckily, I haven't experienced that.
Because, bitch, we...
No, we're not. We don't support violence on this podcast.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. Not like nothing to do, but when I say this is like, you're very aware that you have crossed the line. And we're not, because to be fair, I don't know how to fight. So I'm not fighting nobody. But
try it.
I would call you. No, I'm just kidding.
And I would come.
Thank you.
But okay, so what was that like? Like, that's insane. And then for your own mother, like,
dang. So we were in the car, all of us in the car together. And my mom, like, handed me my change back. We went in and grabbed something from my mom. She's like, oh, we'll just take this change. It was like a $10 bill.
Yeah.
And I told my bag was in the back seat. And I was like, hey, can you put this in my bag? And my mom watched her put it in her pocket.
Oh.
That was strike one. I had another friend.
Dirty.
We were she slept in my brother's room. I slept in my room. The next day, my mom had bought him, and I'm not saying this to brag, but it was like a Burberry shirt.
If it was what it was, honey, it was the Burberry fit.
Yeah, it was Burberry shirts. So this was when True Religion was lit, so there was like 5 pair of True Religion jeans.
So this was before the Burberry became the official baby daddy shirt. This is when this was OG.
This was 2010.
Okay.
So it was different.
Yeah.
But yeah, she stole all his stuff, and it was really...
It wasn't the same friend now.
No. It was
I was about to say, girl, how did you, after the pocketing, how'd you even let her back into the crib?
The pocketing, didn't talk to her again.
Yeah.
But I went through the denial with the Burberry. I was like, there's no way.
So how'd you guys find it?
Her boyfriend was wearing his clothes.
Oh, this is Dallas?
Yep.
Dallas, you dirty state you.
And the worst part was,
D.
she had me around her boyfriend with my brother's clothes on. So I'm chasing him. I'm literally chasing him around the parking lot. Like, you got my brother's clothes on, nigga. Like, I'm finna, like, are you for real? Never got the stuff back. But it made me, so now.
Is this like Dallas? Y'all giving it up like that? This is some real what?
Yes, and he was a bum. So I get it. You want your man to look good, but bitch, not on my brother's watch. You know what I mean? Like, no pun intended.
Someone would have had to be dealt with.
Yeah, I tried, but it really made me become, as far as like jealousy. Sometimes it's like you said, energy is like such a. I don't want to say it's a. What is that word called? Where fuck, it's on the tip. I just heard it today, but it's like a word that people are saying right now that garners attention, right?
Yeah.
And I don't allow people. Hi, Simba. We can close that too if we need to. Yeah, let's close it. Poor Simba.
The dog like, I can't believe it's so
Please,
close.
I want to talk. The tea was getting good, right?
Mm-hmm. Snack.
Right? You a little hungry?
A little chip.
I'm starving. I got some.
A little goldfish.
I literally have rice. That's.
Damn, are you African? Because that's all I got too. What?
I might be, honestly.
You might be Nigerian, just having rice.
I need some rice. I need some. I'm gonna leave after this and go get something. But no, yeah. So the energy, my mom has always been big on not allowing people in our space. I think I've had 2 sleepovers like as a kid because she was just like, even though we don't have a lot, like I was good, but like it wasn't like massive. You can't always allow people into your space.
Oh yeah.
But the other thing I wanted to comment on was like holding your friends accountable on the communication you were talking about. So Devontae, I'm gonna tell our business. I'm sorry. But Devontae and I recently got in a really big argument.
Okay.
And it wasn't big, but it was on Thanksgiving. He did something that really hurt me.
Okay.
And this is something that he has done previously that I've taken offense to, but it was due to communication. And we just made up, so we're good. It's fine. He's like my brother. We fight and we're cool.
Fair.
But I think grace should be the new topic of this podcast because everyone I talked to was like, you got to give people grace. And his request to me was like, sis, like, this is something I'm working on. I'm trying to get better at it. Please give me grace. Like, I cannot be perfect for you. I cannot always be 100% on top of things for you. If you know this is something that I'm working on, why are you not giving me grace when I give you grace in other things? And I'm like, what you got to give me grace on? But that was the pride in me that was like, I'm the perfect friend. Like, there's nothing that I do wrong. He's like, no, this is what you do wrong. And it was kind of like, it was a wake up call. Cause I'm like, dang, I'm really hard on the people that I care about.
Yeah.
But it's cause I want you to be your best self. But him coming back to me and was like, these are the things that I take issue with you and you know it, but you haven't fixed it. And I was like, dang. That's what I think being a great friend is, and having a great friendship is being able to have your issues, but come back and say, this bothered me and this is not cool. But what you were saying with the 3 strike situation, sometimes you have friends where you're like, look, I'm not even going to allow you to get to that point that you disappoint me and that you frustrate me and that you cross a boundary. So I'm interested. Break this all down. I find that with new people that I meet, I go all in very quickly.
Okay.
And I struggle with balancing a relationship like Devontae, where we can have issues and we come back together and we respect each other, as opposed to now you're on the 3 strike rule.
Ooh.
And how do you balance meeting someone new that you're cool with and you fuck with, but you give them grace, but also, like, how do you not go in too deep too fast? I guess is what I'm asking.
I feel like we're talking about making friends in LA and I feel like I honestly experienced that recently when I first moved here and just kind of, trying to foster friendships with, just women naturally, going all in. And I think that is a lesson that it's funny that you speak on that because that is one of the biggest lessons that I learned this year. With just navigating female friendships in a new city like LA. I realized that like I was going a bit all in with some of the women that I was meeting here or that I've met here, excuse me.
Yeah.
Some of the women that I've met here, I was going all in, and like my kind of going all in is like I have this thing. We all have our things, right?
Yeah.
Where like you have to have that little personal therapy session like, okay, why do you do that?
Yeah.
I have this like thing where I just kind of want to not glow up all of my friends because all of my friends are glowing in their own different ways. But if I see there's a place where someone is lacking or they can improve and I can be of help, I like become like some unspoken mentor or something, towards them. And I go all into that capacity. Like, oh girl, well, you should be doing this, or oh girl, come, come
but
with
you
me
feel
here.
like it's from love.
It's from love, but everyone, 1, doesn't deserve that. And 2, if they're not asking you to, you don't need to be doing that. And 3, like, friendship, maybe that is not what friendship is, maybe that's more so, I don't know.
I know. I'm
a people fixer.
A fixer.
A glower upper. I try and be like, I love a project, but like I don't see these people as projects. I see them as like people who like, these are potential girlfriends. Mm-hmm. We ride together, we glow together.
I see more in you.
I see more in you. You see me doing this. And I'm here to say, like, I'm not that gatekeeping friend. You can do this too. Yeah. Let's do it together. Yeah. 2 heads are always better than 1. But I think that has been like my biggest downfall so far. Just kind of like, not downfall, because my biggest lesson, downfall is a bit dramatic. My biggest lesson that I've learned, especially moving here and trying to navigate friendships with women here, is like, 1, people aren't projects. But like, I don't think, maybe I'm in denial. Maybe that's something, maybe I do. Because I'm like, that sounds so bad. Like, and I don't want anyone to ever watch this and be like, does this bitch think I'm a project? Like,
it's not project. You just see so much in them that you want to bring it out. That's it.
I want to bring it out. Yeah. And then, don't ask me how I got something, and I see that same potential for you because naturally, if you're my friend, I know everyone has their different things that they're into, but, I'm more like, oh girl, this is how I got this. I'm just so like, and I still don't believe in gatekeeping, but I do see how people can become gatekeepers in a weird way because just past trauma with like failed friendships and different things, because I feel like I was starting to experience that, like I was, going all in for these people because I saw them as like, a project or, oh, like I can so help this person out. And it started to backfire. I started to become used. I started to become taken advantage of. I started to become unappreciated. And after a while, I started to resent these people. And we don't have the same friendship or we're not at that level that I have with my other friends where it's like, I'm communicating this. I'm coming off as confrontational. And we don't even have a strong enough bond outside of, this person being a project or, this like give and take kind of relationship that, it's easy to just be like, okay, well, screw it. Yeah. Because we haven't built those years of love for each other or, but I will not say that there aren't some women who like, I will meet and, we will only be friends for a certain amount of time. That's how I met my very best friend in New York. She lives in New York. Her name is Alexis. Shout out Alexis. I love you down.
Hi, Alexis.
But like, and I'm gonna tell our business too. Yeah. So you don't even feel like you're telling your business. Alexis is my best friend in the whole wide world. We met so naturally. We were at a New York Fashion Week event. It was my first event. I've never it was like not like one of the official events. Yeah. It was like, when they're like, okay, well, this is for the general public. So maybe you should come to this social media marketing kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, New York Fashion Week, like never been anything. Let me go to this. We literally met in the line in the bathroom. I turned around. I was like, is this the line for the bathroom? We turned around. We just been besties and then we just fell in love with each other.
That is correct. And the line in the bathroom?
The line in the bathroom. It was like the cutest love story. She's a Leo as well. August 2nd.
August 5th.
Yes, August 2nd. But I'll tell our business a little bit. Yeah. So, we had just met. We were fresh friends. We did brunch one time after we met in that line. Wow. And then we were like, fuck it. Do you want to go to DC for a weekend and just do a girls trip to DC? And we did Howard's Homecoming and we did that. But it was like, that was the first time I was like, oh my gosh, y'all, like, this is a thing. We just met and like, she seems cool. And we had our first little argument on that trip.
Really?
Yes. It was a disagreement. We were at a tailgate and we ended up getting split up. She's like, oh my God, this bitch leave me. Yeah. Or this bitch, I just met her. Maybe she expected she'd leave me. But, we communicated so well. And I feel like that is the only person who like, this was a new friend and we had that like dispute, but we were able to like resolve it so quickly. We've been best friends since. And that was like healthy for us. But that is very rare. I understand that. And I feel like that is a thing. Like I still am all in, but I haven't established friendships with these women enough where it's like we can have a disagreement and move past it. It's like, it was like one disagreement and it's like,
you're done.
And I'm like, you know what?
That is, Obi, I so relate.
Yeah. And then another thing I do want to touch on, that kind of can build some kind of like wall up naturally. Yeah. And I feel like after that, like you can ask Brandon, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to make any more female friends here. All of these people are weird. Why are everyone creeps? But you know what? I literally like, and this is so recent. Like this is literally so recent, like this year. I mean, I just got to LA in 2022. But I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to have that narrative that I can't foster healthy female friendships. I have healthy female friendships outside of this city. I have healthy relationships with women. So you know what? Rather than me, being a little bit traumatized by a failed friendship because of X, Y, and Z, I'm going to continue to put myself out there. It's all a vulnerable act at the end of the day.
Love that.
And while I'm just like, oh no, I'm not going to act like I'm not crazy. Like, oh my gosh, so is this bitch only want to hang with me because she thinks I do X, Y, and Z? Or naturally, like, we're both successful women. We're both magnetic women. Like, people are always going to naturally want to be around that. And I had to become okay with that and not think that everybody was out to get me or use me or take advantage of me or, that what I went through. And I feel like since then, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be a product of that situation. I'm going to still put myself out there because I'm living here. I'm not leaving LA, And I do genuinely want female friends. Literally, I do want them. And I feel like ever since I just kind of let that guard down and I let that situation be what it was and I just closed that chapter with, a failed friendship, I feel like I've been only making good girlfriends. Good girlfriends, people that stick and people who resonate. And sometimes you just have to kind of go through certain humps with people. Yeah. But I try and stay optimistic because I used to be like so dismissive. Like, no, I know this bitch is like this. Like, I went through a rough patch with like trust issues and things with women. But I'm not like that, naturally. So I don't know how to fake it. So, yeah. So.
Dang, I feel like everything you just said spoke to my life. Like, I feel this is why we got along. Because I feel like you understood me from jump. So something that you said that really stuck out to me was you talked a little bit about grace, but like with your friend, like what you guys dealt with. And something that I struggle with friendships is not even knowing when to go all in, but having those difficult conversations from jump. And you talked about there's some friends that you have an issue with and it's one issue and then you're done. Like you cut them off. And
well, I don't cut them off. It's just like
it happens.
It just happens. We just drift apart naturally because they can't handle the
truth. Y'all will tell it like it is, I'm kidding. And I I've had friends where we've had issues and we've, left. And I really struggle with finding that balance of when do I say something, but also having that wall up as well. So like if I meet you, right? You talked about how like I texted you and was like, hey, like, are you still interested? I don't know when to reach out. I don't know when to actually say like, let's go do something. Let's hang out. Like, let's be friends. I tend to just be like, okay, I met her. She's cool. If I see her again, I see her again. So how do you move forward from the meeting stage to actually doing something stage?
So I've just been learning, and it's just so interesting because you really have to just switch it up and just do things that you've kind of never done before. And just making new friends can be so awkward sometimes because at the end of the day, you're always like, dang, does this person mutually want to be cool with me as I want to be cool with them? It's all a putting yourself out there game. So I just come to terms with being okay with, especially living in a city like LA. Let's be real about it. People are gonna let's get lunch you down to death.
And you will never see them again.
You will never see them again. Something that a guy told me when I first moved here, and I loved it because it really stuck with me. Shout out David Allen. He told me, he was like, I'm going to tell you something right now about LA. I said, oh, tell me something. Because everyone swears that they're going to give you the LA handbook when you move here. So I just like to take it all in. I like to take it all in and then see for myself. But it was factual, so I'm going to repeat it. He said, you're going to have those people who you meet. You'll meet great people. And you'll have those people who will say, let's get lunch. Or let's get together soon. You'll never hear from them again. Then you have those other people who are like, let's get together. And they will pull out their calendar. They will put the date, he said those are the people who are about their business and are actually going to follow up. But don't get me wrong. That stuck with me. And I'm not going to lie. Every time I do meet someone, it just always kind of makes me laugh because you'll meet someone, you'll vibe, and they'll be like, girl, we got to do lunch or something. We got to do lunch. Everyone loves a lunch down. Like, honey, you guys don't kick it. Anyone loves a lunch down in LA. LA is such a let's get lunch ass city. These people want to lunch you to death.
Girl.
Lunch you to death.
What happened to dinner?
Like literally, like let's get dinner.
Yeah.
But every time I say that, and I know, for example, like I know for a fact I'm not gonna see this person again. It just kind of makes me chuckle because I always hear his voice in the back of my head. But there are those people. There are those people who are gonna be like, oh, let's do this date. Let's put this date. Don't get me wrong. I've had people who have set a calendar date and we still never linked up. Like it's gonna happen. But one thing I will say that I have liked since I moved here, because I know for a fact that we are not the only people, who have these conversations and go through the same thing about, fostering friendships with other women and just people in Los Angeles in general. So I've noticed that it's a common thing amongst women. So I can literally tell when someone's timid, just like me, about like following up. But one thing I've really been appreciating, and I told you I've been able, like, since, separating myself just from certain friends and things like that, and just still putting myself out there to meet more people. I like that the girls they're getting creative. And I like that I can tell that they're getting creative because they're going through the same issues that you and I are going through, that hesitancy of how do you follow up with someone who is a cool vibe and you want to be friends, but this is LA and everyone, they can be pretty superficial or they have their own thing going on. Does this person want to hang with me? Do they think I'm cool? I like that the girls have just been throwing out events and saying, hey, do you want to go to this with me? I learned that here in LA to do that. Before I would play the waiting game, like, oh, maybe she'll hit me up. And I'm like, well, girl, LA really taught me, like, girl, no, because they're just in their head just as much as you. But one thing that I have noticed is that the girls who are actually genuine and actually want to foster an actual friendship and get to know me outside of, us initially meeting, they will literally be like, hey girl, I saw this event. Do you want to come with me? And I've taken that page from their books too. And those are typically the friends that have like stuck, the girlfriends who were continuing to get to know each other. Yeah. And I'm like, damn, I started to take a page out of their book. Like, okay, I know I want to hang out with this person and we haven't really broken the ice, but we vibed and they seem genuine, like they want to hang out. Okay, well, see what this person may be into. Have those conversations. Okay, I know now that Kourtlynn has a podcast. Oh my gosh, there's an event for different podcasters. This is something I'm into too. Maybe this is a gesture that I can throw in there. Hey girl, do you want to go to this? That way, we're breaking that ice. Where I'm still following up and that. But LA has taught me that too, just from learning from other women. And what I like about it is because I know other women are doing that because they're also being vulnerable and putting themselves out there. But yeah, so that is how I go about it. Like now it's just like, okay, well, I have these events I'm always complaining about, like I have no one to go with, or I'm calling my friends, my besties at home, like I wish y'all were here because it's dope event. And now like I went through this weird shit. I don't trust these bitches. I feel like these bitches are using me. They only want to go to this because clout. No, like if I'm interested, you don't know. And at the end of the day, like you just can't project. So I'm like, I'm going to invite these people anyway. People cannot hide for long, like their true colors, their motives.
It could be
all
2
of that
times you go out and you're like, okay, cool. At least I tried.
Like ulterior motives will always reveal themselves. So it can be a losing game, but putting yourself out there and just shooting your shot. And people have shot their shot at me, and it has made me comfortable enough to shoot my shot at other women for friendship as well too. That should be the name of this. Shooting your shot at friendship. At friendship. Female in LA edition. LA female edition.
This was originally going to be called Thank You for Being a Friend.
Yeah.
The Black Golden Girls theme song version.
Yeah, no, facts.
I like the Shooting Your Shot.
Shooting LA Your Shot LA female edition.
Because I want to touch on 2 things. Number one, you talked about like, for one, I appreciate, first of all, I want to put on our calendar a Soul Cycle class. So
okay, and let's do it. Like we will really do it.
I signed up for John Reed.
Look at us. We're already progressing. We're putting things on our calendar. You hear that?
On the calendar.
Not saying we're going to Soul Cycle soon.
Yeah, like an actual date.
Yeah, let's do it.
Another thing that I find is I love that you said that everybody's kind of feeling the same way. Like we're all like, I don't know if I should do this. I don't know if I should go do this. But this podcast has helped me really step out of my comfort zone and like have to ask people, because I've been good with the same 5 friends. Like I'm like, oh, these are my friends. Like I don't got to meet anybody else. But I also really encourage people to do new things, try new things, go out and do it by yourself and see if you can meet somebody there. But one thing you said was like, okay, Kourtlynn has this podcast. Here's this podcast. one thing I struggle with is I have many identities, right? So there's layers to me.
Mm-hmm.
I could be a bad bitch on a bad bitch night if I want to. I could be a hiker. I can be a pottery girl.
Absolutely.
So I find that when people meet me, it's like, I don't know when to include you in certain. So if you were to give me advice, how would you tell me to, I guess, let people know that I can show up to? I feel like I'm very adaptable. So if you put me in any situation, I'll adapt to it and I'll know how to show up correct. But everybody doesn't know that about me. So if you were Kourtlynn, how would you express that to people?
I would be doing what I'm doing now, starting a podcast where I'm meeting new energies. I'm putting myself out there. I'm talking about myself. Naturally, we are getting to know you through this podcast. You don't even understand how much you're doing by just putting yourself out there, having these important conversations with people, different people from different walks of life who have different stories. And now these are things that people will naturally, you know, learn about you when you all view this podcast, because you're going to watch it.
You
right?
go watch it.
You're going to watch it. But also just being loud about it. I'm very, like, I like to just showcase the different sides of me when I meet people. Like, you know, like when you meet people, be sure to mention it and don't be afraid to mention it. Because, like, for example, say we're conversing and someone's like, girl, I went and got my nails done today. Where do you go?
Yeah.
That just little things to just hint in there, because people won't know, of course, unless you tell them. So, like, but naturally, like, if you're having a conversation, oh, that's dope. Like, I love stuff like this. You know what? Sometimes, like, and it's so, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I know I'm really social and I can be very extroverted just as much as I can be introverted. But I'm not going to act like I don't always have that level of, like, fear of rejection. Like, even when I'm replying to someone's story, like, oh my gosh, where is this?
Yeah.
But I still do it because after a while, rejection is something that I just had to understand that if it's not for you, it's really not for you. If this person wants to be stank about it or weird or gatekeep, that's not someone you want to be around anyway. If me asking you where you got your nails done, or me asking you what event is this, or me asking, like, you know, me putting myself out there makes you be like a mean person. I never wanted to be around you in the first place.
You're not for me.
So yeah, so I would honestly say just mentioning it, honestly, and not being afraid to mention it, because there's so many things that people don't know about me. But, like, if we're casually having conversation, I'm gonna throw it out there. Oh girl, I hike too. So when we going, oh girl, I blah blah blah. And you know, that is the way to just put it out there. I just being vocalizing that. But, like, things like this is like you're naturally doing it as well. But I guess just actually
vocally saying it.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we all have layers. So it would be pretty weird for me to be like, I mean, girl, I hike and I like my natural hair, but I also like wigs too. And I also like to go to dance parties and I'll do a little WeHo.
Somebody's gonna be like,
but I'll also go to Inglewood. Like, you know, or just like showing different layers. Like, that would be weird to just be listening because it would just come off as bragging. But naturally,
through
like, through conversation.
Oh,
like,
I've been here. I loved it.
Approaching people, or like just naturally approaching people, but showing different sides of you and not being afraid to. I kind of use my Instagram stories to bait, since everyone loves social media here. So I like to show different sides of me. Like, I like to show, okay, I go to the gym, and that's how I've been able to, like, make friends as well too. For example, I was starting to go to solid core and into solid core classes, and there was a girl who I had met through a mutual friend when she came in town. We found out we lived not too far from each other in the city, and I can tell we were both kind of trying to figure out, like, oh, she seems like a cool girl. How can we hang out with each other? You know, you play the liking game. You play the liking game with the girlies. Oh my gosh, like, shooting a shot at friends.
Feel the energy.
Like, it is no different than shooting a shot with you know, a potential partner or, you know, someone you have a crush on. Like, shooting a shot with friends is that much vulnerable, and people don't really talk about that. You'll play the liking game with other girls, like, okay, girl, that's a cute pic. So I was like, you know what, like, I kind of want to hang with her. I saw that she was going to solid core, and I replied, and I literally said, hey girl, I'm about to start going there because it's one of the trades that I get, so I can go for free now. And literally, like, while it was nerve-wracking, the response was so rewarding. One random day, she sent me a class and was like, want to take this class? Now we're working out together.
I love that.
Naturally. So I was like, I was a little hesitant. I was like, I don't know. She's going to be like, oh, girl, see you there.
Like the message.
Aren't we all at solid core? But no. And, like, now, like, And I'm like, this is so refreshing, just switching up and doing something differently, you know?
I love that. I used to work at Orange Theory in Dallas.
Oh my gosh, I used to take Orange Theory in New York.
Girl, first of all, if y'all want to lose some weight, I lost 55 pounds with Orange Theory.
What?
I gained like
Congratulations.
that was a long time
It's
ago.
okay. We're going to look past it.
It's fine. I did lose a lot of weight with it. But
yeah.
I love that because I've even thought about taking up like a part-time job on the weekends, like as a bartender or working in retail just to like meet those people. Because my brother lived the manager at Beer. And he was all his friends are still he comes out here and he has like 20 different people to hang out with because they work together. But I also want to say, if you guys are trying to meet friends, TikTok, I've met a lot of women through TikTok.
That's cool though, because you want to know what people haven't, and I don't post on TikTok a lot, but I will get here or there a DM on TikTok. I came across your video with like to X, Y, and Z. That's a good way.
Yeah. It was nerve wracking because I was like, I don't know, like, are you? Because you can only show so much of yourself.
Yeah, are you an internet personality? Yeah. Or are you a real person?
Yeah. Or will you be disappointed in who I am? And most of them I've only met up with once, but it was a new connection. It was a new perspective. So I love that you said that. Like, you just got to sometimes
switch it up. DM. You got to just switch it up and do stuff differently. I didn't see any rewards, and I didn't see any like good feedback until I just started doing stuff differently. I started going to women's groups. I went to women's groups at church and see if I'd meet anyone naturally there. Going out by yourself sometimes. A happy hour. Yes. A happy hour.
Sit at the bar and do not be on your phone.
I would look up okay, I'm going to give y'all real tea.
Okay.
I would look up well, this is when I was trying to find a little bae or whatever. Okay. But still, it still varies because maybe you'll find like-minded women there. But I was like, where do X, Y, and Z type of men hang out, happy hours? My best friend who lives in Dallas does that a lot. She meets people she is literally like,
that's
such a socialite.
Yeah.
She would meet people naturally, go on TikTok and see like different places where people hang out. And like, you're more approachable when you're alone. Do it safely, of course. Have your friends have your location and things like that. But you're naturally more approachable when you're alone.
I love that.
So I make sure that, for certain things, as nerve-wracking and awkward it is, I try and go places, by myself from time to time, just because naturally, like, you're just naturally more approachable.
I love that. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, so just switching it up, putting yourself out there, and and I think that our biggest fear is rejection, right? Like,
rejection is perspective and perception.
Yeah.
Most people feel rejected before they have the opportunity to be rejected. So we are all in a circle feeling rejected.
That was a word.
Group.
That was a word.
Yeah.
I'll write that down. No,
I
facts.
feel that. One last thing I wanted to touch on was,
for sure.
You guys don't know, but Obi, I did not know that she was an entertainment journalist when I met her. I don't know. What did I think you I thought you were in like fashion or something. That was, I think that's what I thought.
Which I love though, because hopefully one day the goal is to do some type of fashion reporting.
Manifest it, girl.
Louis Vuitton, I'm coming for you. Hopefully while Pharrell's still in house. Pharrell, if you're watching.
Let's see you at the Met Gala.
That's
on the red carpet.
That's a huge, anyway, girl.
We'll talk about that. Because like you said, you push your friends, girl, I'm a pusher.
Okay.
Like they said, I mean, girl.
I'm a pusher. I think she sells drugs.
No, what do we?
Okay, so
do you?
Yes, I am an entertainment journalist. I am on my 9th life in this California.
You might be like your cat and have 21.
You know?
You never know. But I think one thing that when making friends, I do not ask people what they do. I think in LA, there's this big thing that's like, so what do you do?
I don't do that either.
Okay.
So you want to know what my thing is?
Yeah,
I have like a slogan.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. I have like a whole, like, I should really write like a socialite handbook. Like, I really am good at approaching.
I should really start with? An ebook.
No, I want to write an ebook about like navigating entertainment and careers, but also
I'll buy
like,
it. Yeah.
I'm okay. So with that being said, I will be writing it. But yeah, just exploring the entertainment industry. But I literally have like, Brandon calls me like the baiting queen. I know how to bait a guy. I know how to, just the whole nine.
Okay.
So when I meet people, and I feel like that's another reason that a lot of people can be drawn to me in different ways, I never ask, what do you do? It is the most head-ass, cliche, superficial question that you can ask. And I noticed that wasn't a big thing in New York. Like, you get to know someone, you're partying, you're at some event, and then by like the 3rd, 10th drink, while you guys are already friends and have been all over the party together, then maybe it comes out.
Right.
But here, it's just very straightforward. I don't think it's a problem. I just think it's LA culture. And I think like if you may not be secure in yourself or feel like you have anything going on, that question can be very like intimidating. And I never want to give that off. I don't care what field I work in, how successful I've been in. I never want anyone to feel uncomfortable with talking to me. So I don't ask people what they do. Do you know what I ask people? Don't steal my stuff, y'all.
I'm gonna steal it.
Okay, steal it. When I meet people, I ask them what are they passionate about.
Ooh.
And they eat it up every time. They eat it up every time.
Y'all, the handbook, what are we gonna call it?
I don't know. Socialite. It has to be something with social since I worked in social and I'm a wordplay kind of girl.
Socialite game, how to make friends with one-on-one or something. That's amazing.
When I talk to people, especially when I'm in so many of these spaces where they're so industry, I don't like that. And, I just cannot stand when within the first 10 seconds of you talking to me, I can tell you want something from me. You want something. Or you're only intrigued because of what you think I'm a part of. It's exhausting, and I get it. There's a difference between networking and just being fake. Yeah. Or, just a little socially awkward. Yeah. So I like to ask people when I talk to people, oh my gosh, so nice to meet you. Oh my gosh, how long have you been in LA? Cool. What are you passionate about? Because naturally that question is going to be answered if you ask them what they're passionate about. People love talking about their passions. So instead of what do you do, can we just start asking me because everyone always like smiles. When I ask that and I'm like, I got them right where I want them. And there's some drinks flowing. They're like, did she just ask me about my passion? Yeah. Now I know why you moved from Utah to Las Vegas when you were 3 because I didn't ask you what you did.
2 more questions and really getting to understand that person and getting through that. Like, can I say something?
Yeah. Okay.
This podcast has really, because it's really awkward when people are like, oh, so like, what do you do? And I'm like, I do work a 9 to 5, but bitch, I got to pay my bills.
Yeah.
So, but I've also written music for people. I do have credits. I also do this podcast. Like I've done, but you can't fit that one
yeah, it gets awkward after a while because it's like you feel like you're explaining yourself, and it's like, babe, if you wanted that, just go on my LinkedIn
because I can give you the link. It's right here.
Yeah. But I feel like it's just the culture here, so naturally, like you just know, like I know I'm going out with someone there is gonna ask me what do I do naturally. But imagine if someone asks you what you're passionate about instead. If we turn that into that. I just feel like I've gotten so much great feedback from that. And naturally, like, if you want to find out, they'll tell you. And if they don't, at least you know what this person is into, know?
Yeah.
So, let's just start asking people, what are they passionate about, LA? Can we?
What are your hobbies? Like, it's more than just, what's your trade? Like, don't ask, I don't like following people on Instagram when I meet them
because that's another one we got to touch base on.
Because I don't like to see their curated version of them. I want to know them for who they are. So typically I don't follow people until we've hung out.
I like that you don't. I feel like I always get finessed out of that follow. And it's not even a finesse because it's like, it's not that I don't want to like follow you, but how do you know that before I even get to know you as a person, your name, I want to see, your content or like whatever you're posting on. I don't even know you essentially. Then people will be mad when you unfollow after a while. I was like, well, dang, I didn't even I've had people who literally ask you for your Instagram before your real name or like, I just wish that culture would just kind of just fade after a while because it's just like Instagram, it should not be the first form of communication or, social, communication. I'm big on letting people follow me first.
Okay.
And it's not even to be like a bitch or anything, but I let people follow me first because I feel like naturally, like, I know I'm friendly. I know, X, Y, and Z, but it's just become such a big thing that it's like, I feel like, okay, I know what I gave. So it just gives that reassurance, like, okay, like this person actually like, we connected, in a way. But it's not that deep. I wouldn't say everyone, but like sometimes just because it is just such the social norm now, I'm just like, I don't want that to be the first thing anymore, because I'm not going to lie. You're never going to get this from me on my Instagram. You're going to get this.
She's a bad bitch, y'all.
No, I don't even chat on my Instagram because I feel like I'm just so into real world experiences and real human connection. I feel like Instagram, like you said, it is your curated diary of your highlights of your life. Yeah. But that vulnerability and everything, you're never going to get that on the internet, for me at least.
Absolutely. And I'll say the last thing I'll say is one of my wishes is that we show up more authentically on social media. But I also understand that sometimes a curated version of people is their authentic.
I battle with that though. Yeah. I do battle with showing up authentically myself. I think so many things plays into a factor because people are always like, "Oh my gosh, girl, if you were just put this out, you would be famous by now. You would be blah, 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 now." But I do feel like there's so many other ways for me, and I feel like that might not. I know. It's just that's something that's a topic for another day, like getting in your own head. But I feel like so many things, played into account as to why I don't show up on social media fully myself. In the journalism school, they're like, you won't get a job if you do X, Y, and Z. So after a while, it was career that was stopping me from that because I'm like, I'm trying to show up professionally. I would be scared to post bathing suit pictures.
Really?
Nah, I got bathing suit pictures now. Somebody gonna see this body. Somebody gonna see this body. But, after a while, I was just so trained to like everything is gonna stop you from getting a job. And I think with time, I had to become comfortable with being myself and knowing that myself is what's gonna help me succeed. Once I kind of, thank you, so are you. Once I got into more of the entertainment space and the more lax space working in social media, it was like, why wouldn't you be yourself, you know? Yeah. So I think that's a hump that I kind of want to get over, but I feel like sometimes the just superficial aspect of it just kind of makes me want to save myself for real human, connection.
Yeah, and you're not the only one. Yeah. So many people, like I said, some people's authenticity is their curation, like is their aesthetic, is their like, that is what they think about all day. So that is who they are. And that's fine. I'm going to get on social media and cry. Cry. I might not do that. But I might I'm going to show the days that are hard. I'm going to show the days that I struggle because that's who I am as a person. But I love seeing women like you who are, to be fair, Obi is always put together, but like...
well, thank you. I try to be vulnerable with some captions, but something about it, I don't know.
Privacy is also... You know what? Can I interrupt you? I'm sorry.
No, you're totally fine.
Something my grandma my mom really struggles. My whole family, we struggled with that. I really did it when I went through a breakup, honestly. And I just did it. I didn't have... My friends were tired of hearing my shit.
Yeah, you didn't have an outlet.
I put it on the internet, but... My grandma would always say, let people run their mouths and you go about your business. Yeah. So being vulnerable was like, oh, people can't know my business. They can't know what I've got going on. But there's a way to do it.
There's a way to maintain that privacy. And I feel like slowly but surely I am mastering that. Yeah. It's a big hump that I want to get over because I definitely do want to share more of myself with the world. And I feel like naturally, but I feel like sometimes like I'll be doing so well in my career. I'll be like, oh, I don't need social media. I'm really living real life. Like, oh my gosh, I really got, but it's there's power in that. And I feel like, everyone has a story to tell. And I feel like everyone should tell their story. I always admire people who can do things like this. Yeah. And, and one day I do believe that I will. I feel like I'm just, moving on my timing. But who knows? 2024, we might be outside.
It's a whole different story, girl. You're gonna be 28 in 2024.
I know. It's time. Yeah. How am I gonna make Forbes 30 under 30 if I don't start chatting to these bitches? I gotta start using my voice.
Y'all be eating it up. So I support it. Obi, when I met you, I really just knew that you were a great person.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that you agreed to me. It's rare that I meet women like you. Obi, you're a great person.
Well, thank you so much. And likewise. And thank you for doing this. Like, you're inspiring me even, like, getting over that hump, like, putting yourself out there. I was like, of course, like, things like this, you don't understand. It's really healing for people like me who, naturally, like, even if this is stuff that I do in my field, like, just being able to see, like, she's doing it, you can do it too. You're doing it so well. Your consistency is amazing. The quality and the effort that you're putting into this is like so dope. And like, you have to keep going because you never know who you're inspiring. And you're definitely inspiring me.
I appreciate
And I'm so honored to be a guest because I know you're going to blow. And I'm going to be like, I've been there, done that. Check
she
out
was
episode.
the first one.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna be like, ooh, bitch, we're following Obi. I'm gonna insert a clip of me crying the other day about this damn podcast so y'all know. But thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yay.
I just love you.
Well, thank you.
Oh.
That was such a
It's okay.
thing, but it's okay. What is your Instagram for everyone to follow you?
If you must know, as we just bashed Instagram.
Yeah.
My Instagram is at Obehi Angela, Obehi Angela. And yeah.
I'll put it on the screen for them to follow. And you guys follow her. Make sure you check her out. Thank you so much for being a part of episode 9. And we're going to go ahead and pull our calendars out for Soul Cycle.
See you on a bike.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.